Good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear Open Science community. Welcome here to Hamburg to the Open Science Conference 2025. After several virtual conferences, we have decided to open or to run this conference as an in-person gathering. We attract fewer participants as compared to only virtual conferences, but therefore the discussions are more intense. And that is why we decided, okay, to bring together the community from all over Europe to discuss over the next 2 days on the topic of open science and AI. So that will be the core focus. That will be what we want to investigate. What is the relationship between AI and open science? And the program for the next 2 days, in my opinion, reflects that relationship perfectly. We are going to dig into what it means for scientific outputs to be truly fair on the one side, and also how to build infrastructures. That is our core business of my home institution of the ZBW, to build infrastructures and competencies that make open science not just idealistic, but also practical, safe, and inclusive. And well, as you have noticed, there are so many events now related to open science. We have open science festivals, we have open science bar camps, and therefore the question is, why does this conference matters? And I have 3 reasons why this conference matters. Number 1 is trust and credibility. Fragmented metadata, opaque research processes and tools that are black boxes in terms of the data and the methods they use undermine trust and credibility. So we need more openness in that regard, and particularly the latest AI movement has shown us how important it is to understand what is the data which is used, for example, by generative AI, what are the methods which are applied on the data. And Eric Schultes, our first keynote speaker, will address that. He will point out that ensuring research outputs such as software, data, and publications are fair is not only a nice to have, it is fundamental for AI that we can trust. So reason number 1, trust and credibility. Reason number 1, openness must be equitable. It is not sufficient that research is open. It must also be accessible and relevant across geographies, disciplines, and most important, we discussed that in recent open science conferences, across career stages. So the young generation should not have a disadvantage by committing to the open science principles, because they are like research outputs, their quality of research is often measured by old metrics which are not compliant to the open science movement. And the third item, which argues or helps me to argue why this conference matters, relates to infrastructures and backbones. Infrastructure are the backbones. There are great ideas in open science, but turning them into reality depends on 3 different things. Number 1, we must have robust interoperable data infrastructure. So the infrastructure should be able to communicate with one another. We want to get rid of the data silos. Number 2 is fair principles should be embedded in our day-to-day workflows. So fair by design, I think, is an important paradigm, particularly if we develop new AI tools. We will address that issue also together with Eric in like 3 weeks' time during the EOSC symposium, where we have 2 sessions dealing with fair for AI and AI for fair, and particularly AI for fair addresses the issue of fair by design in the scientific working practices. I'm in the category of infrastructures, and here it's important for me to address that infrastructures should not only enable open and efficient research, but they are also a cornerstone of European data sovereignty. Together with Anke Beck, I had the honor to attend a panel discussion of the European Parliament to discuss what Europe can do in order to make our data sovereign, in the sense that those who provide the data and services retain ownership of the data and the services. That meeting in process was considered to be of particular importance. And again, thank you very much for organizing it, because it's the European Parliament which in the end decides upon the next multi-annual financial framework plus SP10, which is a source of funding for us. And we want to see like data sovereignty, data security anchored deeply into these two programs. So over the next 2 days, I encourage you to engage deeply here in person. I already addressed why we think that in-person meetings are still relevant, even though we attract fewer participants. We can interact with one another. Do that. Ask yourself and the others the tough questions, not only the simple ones. Share what works in your working environment, and most important, what does not work in your environment. And maybe you get ideas that help you to overcome these issues. Use the solutions and the discussion sessions, which are part of the program, to connect with others in your field, to explore new ideas and to experiment innovative approaches. Our collective goal here is to go beyond improving science. To us, it is important to make science more resilient, more inclusive, more transparent, and ultimately more impactful. I think that's a key objective of the open science movement: make our work more impactful, not only for the scientific community, but also for the policymakers and most important for society.